school. The largest request is coming from the Oshkosh Area School District with a $197.8 million referendum for the construction of a new middle school and renovations at 3 elementary schools. West Appear Unified School District is asking voters to approve a $9.925 million referendum to improve and expand the school's trade education facilities. Shiocton has 2 referendums on its ballot, one to issue $23.5 million in debt for building and facility improvements, and another for $9.1 million to fund the addition to a gymnasium. And for the first time in 28 years, Manitowoc is asking for a referendum. This one is for $25 million to fund building maintenance and upgrades. The entire board of directors of the Shipyard District Incorporated, along with leaders in other neighborhood associations, sent an open letter to the Brown County Board of Supervisors this week, urging them to negotiate in good faith and come to an agreement with C. Rice to move coal piles that are currently situated on prime waterfront property in downtown Green Bay to the former Pulliam Power Plant site. The letter says the coal pile site represents the district's most significant public and mixed-use development opportunity. Recently, the Brown County Board of Supervisors rejected C. Rice's offer to purchase the former Pulliam Power Plant site. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking on a $15 million grant from the Wisconsin Department of Administration for development in the area. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
The Brewers lose the opener. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers losing to the Yankees today, 4-2 at Yankee Stadium. Closer Devin Williams, in his first appearance for the Yankees against his former team, loaded the bases with no outs in the top of the ninth and gave up a run. Williams managed to get out of the jam, striking out Jackson Churiel and Christian Yelich to get the save. A new face in the Brewers lineup, Vinny Capra, started the game at third base and had a solo home run shot in the top of the third. The two teams have tomorrow off. The series resumes on Saturday. NBA, the Bucks are back home after a long West Coast trip. They lost last night in Denver, 127-117. Head coach Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I thought when we lost the game, I told our coaches we had to make about four to five more threes than them. And I thought if we did that, we would win the game. And I think it was a dead heat, right? So that might have been the difference.
Giannis out with a sprained foot. Damian Lillard is out indefinitely. The Bucks host the Knicks tomorrow night. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight to low in the mid-30s. Areas of rain and drizzle for tomorrow, cloudy and a high in the mid-50s. Some rain and thunder tomorrow night, colder for the weekend with areas of rain and breezy at times. Right now it's 53.
Winter is out and winning is in. It's our Break into Spring statewide text to win contest on your local Civic Media radio station. Your daily shot at a Chula Vista getaway, Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets, or $100 cash. And every entry gets you closer to the grand prize. A brand new Verlo Queen mattress set complete with a mattress, sheets, protector, and pillows. Download the Civic Media app from the App Store or Google Play Store. Choose your stations, listen in, then get set to text to win. It's time to break into spring with WGBW.
Appleton Cigar Company on College Avenue has been serving the community for over 25 years. If you are a cigar aficionado looking for a one-of-a-kind experience, you need to check out Appleton Cigar, which boasts the largest selection of cigars north of Milwaukee with over 706 cigars to choose from in a walk-in humidor. The Cigar Lounge offers an impressive variety of spirits and cocktails that pair perfectly with a premium cigar. For the full experience, come to Appleton Cigar at 415 College Ave, Monday through Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. For more information, go to appletoncigar.com.
Traveling this spring, 30% of you are, and where you're going. I'm Lisa Hale.
I'm Terry Barr, enjoying a fake break. Instead, the popular alternative.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who once tore his ACL playing chess, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Nite Lite. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, Wisconsin. How we doing tonight? Great to have you with me on this Thursday night, the Christmas Eve of weeknights, here on another edition of Night Lite, where we have great guests, good conversation, a few laughs, and a fun question every night. And also, we like to take your texts and calls and find out what your thoughts are on what we're discussing. It's always fun, and we look forward to more of that tonight. So welcome to Night Lite. I am Pete Schwaba, riding shotgun, as always, is the lovable producer Conrad, who is messing with the phones once again. That is his day job, or that's his side hustle, is messing with our phones.
Yeah.
So everything okay there, buddy?
I just have to give it a quick toolbox hit with, the wrench. You just hit it with it.
Do old school TV where you just bang the top of it and hope that works, which it never did, but you never know. Are we good? Phone's good? Phone line's open?
I just reset it, so it should be good in about 2 minutes.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we hope to hear from all of you listening, no matter where you're listening from. It's great to have you here tonight on Night Lite. My buddy Frank Hermans is here. He has become a Night Lite favorite. He actually was from the start. Frank's just a fun guest and a great guy. He'll be here at 6:35. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Frank is going to make the popcorn pick of the week. And I know he's got a doozy for us. And Frank is so much fun, I don't even care if he picks one of his own shows. If he says, come to the Meyer Theater and see our show, that's my popcorn pick of the week. I'll think he's kind of mailing it in, but I would accept it because I like Frank. He's going to perform, he's going to give the popcorn pick of the week, and he's going to talk about his new show, King of Krakow. So that should be fun. And then in the second hour, Ben Reiser will be here from the Wisconsin Film Festival, which is right around the corner. It opens a week from tonight, April 3rd. Such a fun time, great film festival. And if you're a movie buff, this is the festival to attend. Not that they're not all great, they are, but over 150 films. I want to say maybe 170 this year, closer to 170 films. A lot of them by Wisconsin filmmakers, a lot of them restored classics. They have great guests for Q&As. Last year they had Alexander Payne, who wrote Sideways. And what was the movie with Paul Giamatti last year that got
The Holdovers.
Holdovers, yeah.
I just watched that actually like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I love that movie.
Great movie.
It was so good.
Kind of had kind of a Dead Poets Society vibe to it.
Yeah.
Really, he's an amazing filmmaker. So anyway, he's not there this year. He was there last year, and I was sorry I missed it. Ben will be here to tell us everything going on that we might want to check out at this year's Wisconsin Film Festival. So Ben will be here at 7:20, Frank at 6:35. We have lots to discuss tonight. I saw this. I thought this was... I should probably do this before we get started. This is really exciting, folks. Civic media giveaways have been so much fun and very successful. We've done, I think since I've been doing this show, there have been 2 or 3 of them. Well, this time it's our Break Into Spring Text to Win statewide contest. Your daily chance to win a Chula Vista getaway, Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets, or $100 cash. Plus, every single entry puts you into our grand prize drawing for a new queen mattress set from Verlo that includes a mattress, sheet set, mattress protector, and pillows. It's time for Text to Win. The times are 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. So tune in and text us the daily word, and you are entered. You do have to download the app to play. I assume most of you probably already have the Civic Media app. It's very easy to use, and you can take every show with you wherever you go, but it's very easy to use. You just click the little text icon and fire away, and you are entered in the contest for the daily and the grand prize. Good luck, everybody. So, Con, I thought this was funny. I saw the phrase raw dogging yesterday on the internet, the interwebs.
Yes.
And I thought I knew what it meant. I didn't know if it was something I could talk about on the air. But it has a whole different meaning. It's a travel trend. And I guess it's like you said, it's almost a year old, where people get on an airplane and they just do nothing.
Yeah. It became like, I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's just like raw dogging this 14-hour flight. Well, I don't think they actually did it. I know it's just, for views. They posted like a couple seconds of them just looking straight forward. Just looking at the raw dog
that I
thing
could do.
Was looking at the map. Just watching the plane diagram go from place to place.
How is that raw dogging? How does that phrase apply to that action?
I don't know.
It's kind of weird. But it did make me laugh. And now, yesterday, what I read was that Patrick Warburton, who played Putty on Seinfeld, is taking credit for the practice because in season 9 of Seinfeld, he and Elaine were on the plane and they had just gotten back together. They have a very tempestuous relationship, but they had just gotten back together, and it drove her crazy that he just stared at the seat in front of him. He had no electronics. He didn't want to read a book. He didn't have headphones. He didn't want to sleep, and it drove her bananas. So she broke up with him. But that's apparently a trend now. It's called raw dogging, and that would make sense if it was a TikTok thing. I don't believe people would really do that. Our attention span is nothing. And you're going to tell me someone's going to do a 6-hour flight and just stare straight ahead. I don't believe you. I could handle doing a 9-second TikTok video of it. So I thought that was kind of funny. And it led me to an old phrase that I've always kind of thought was pretty cool and kind of true by Blaise Pascal. A famous quote that says, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room and do nothing. Pascal was a French philosopher and mathematician and a Christian writer.
That's not Pedro's father?
You know what? He's actually a better actor than Pedro. He used to do theater back in the 1500s. But it's a great quote. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room and do nothing. And it leads us, ladies and gentlemen, to our question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
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 Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda. Question.
Question.
Questions.
How long can you sit quietly in a room and do nothing? How long can you raw dog it? Sometimes I think of that philosopher, Pascal, thinking of how his phrase was subverted to the term raw dogging. That's tonight's question, though. How long can you sit quietly in a room and do nothing? I think if I had to, I can maybe do 30 minutes. I mean, I do some yoga sometimes. Sometimes I meditate. But that would be rough. I would maybe say 30 minutes. How long do you think you could go, Conrad?
You know, if it's actually nothing, I don't think I've tried in a while, but I think if I have some music on, maybe.
No
music.
Sit quietly in a room and do nothing. No music, no book, no headphones, no one to talk to, and you can't sleep. You have to sit there and do nothing. I suppose you could look out the window.
But I think I could go like 5 minutes, maybe.
5 minutes. See, I think I could do 30. I think I would revert to my old pre-cell phone self, but maybe not. I don't know. But it's a good exercise. And I think it's something we could all benefit from because we're also glued to our phones and our computers and TV. And there's times I have the TV on and I'm on the phone. Like my brain is probably so scrambled. It would be interesting. It's an interesting experiment. And if you guys want to do this at home, well, don't do it because you have to turn off the radio. But that's tonight's question. How long can you sit quietly in a room and raw dog it, a.k.a. do nothing? Let us know, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. I am curious to try it. I wanted to try it last night when I first saw this, but I was watching a really good TV show. So I didn't do it. But that's our question. Stream us, text us. Just yell. If you're down the street, if you're over at the haberdashery getting a suit fitted, yell down your answer. We'll take it. And we will read your text or your call on the radio. I was watching last night Adolescence. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think it's my show I would watch, but it looks kind of crazy.
I panicked. I turned it on, and I liked it so much in the first 20 minutes. I thought, I can't watch this right now. I know I'm going to like this. So I turned it off, and I'm going to go at it where I can watch 2 solid episodes because I can't do 1 episode. I might not have a great attention span, but I do when it comes to watching color television. So I'll probably watch 2 episodes of it tonight. The acting is great. It's all one shot. The camera moves, but they don't cut. It's really interesting. And I haven't seen a good true crime in a while either. So I want to ask Ben Reiser about that tonight. I want to know if he's watching that and what he thinks about it.
Did you read the article that I sent you today?
Oh, I did not. No.
So it was a puberty article, and you know how they announced the Avengers Doomsday
Did you say
cast?
puberty article?
Puberty?
Puberty. There you go. Don't send me puberty articles.
Well,
I went through that a week ago Tuesday. I don't need to read that. Yeah, go ahead. Puberty. Right.
Yeah, so you know how the cast of Avengers Doomsday was revealed?
Yeah.
Well, Twitter has been making memes of it now.
Okay.
And it's like Marvel has been releasing statements like, you know, Pedro Pascal will return as, you know, Mr. Fantastic. The Empire State Building tweeted, "The Empire State Building will return as the Empire State Building in Avengers Doomsday." And then they had Hugh Laurie will return as House in Avengers Doomsday.
Let me ask you something. You're a Marvel guy. Does it even matter who's in the cast? I mean, I know you want decent actors.
Well, okay, so I like some of them, but what really threw me away was that there's no Tom Holland in that, and he's Spider-Man, and I'm confused why he wouldn't be in Avengers Doomsday.
Okay.
So far, I mean, I like the actors that are. I still don't understand why Robert Downey Jr. is a villain in it when he was Iron Man.
Right.
So it just doesn't make sense to me.
But everybody's going to see the heroes. They don't. I know Robert Downey Jr. does a good job, and Tom Holland, but there are other people that could do that, and people would still go, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an Avengers movie. People are going to go. People are going to see it. I'm going to see it. But I want to see Tom Holland in it because Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel character. So
okay. Hey, we need an update on you, Conrad, from the tournament tonight. Let's see what's going on.
Oh yeah,
did the game start yet?
It might have.
Don't.
I think BYU and Alabama.
Don't turn over there, though, folks. We'll keep you posted. You don't need to watch it. All right, we're coming right back, and we're going to read some texts and talk about Quentin Tarantino. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Executive Order, March 25th, implementing portions of the likely doomed Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, or SAVE Act. Among its restrictive provisions are a documentary proof of citizenship to register and vote, potentially disenfranchising millions. Trump's new order, entitled Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections, withholds federal funding from any state which does not implement the use of the National Voter Registration Form and mandates proof of citizenship documents, including a birth certificate, naturalization papers, a real ID compliant driver's license, or a U.S. passport. A 2024 study found 1 in 9 Americans don't have ready access to those documents. And when they do, the documents often don't reflect name and address changes over time. The order would also force states to end mail-in ballot grace periods, restricting ballot deadlines to Election Day. It also demands states report illegal voting to the federal government and directs the Attorney General to withhold federal grants if they don't. Such requirements attempt to circumvent state voting rights expansions, such as Michigan's 2022 passage of Proposition 2. The order will be challenged. The U.S. Constitution grants the states the power to determine the places and manner of holding elections.
Welcome back to Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba. I almost tried tried to say that along with the music, but it would have sounded really awkward.
You did it the other night.
Did I really?
Remember? Welcome back to Night Shift.
Oh, yeah. But I didn't sing it. Like that, I almost tried to would have been embarrassing for all involved. Monica from Mount Horeb says, I couldn't beat you in a stare down, but I could easily do it for that flight. I daydream a lot, she says. Okay. Boy, I'm envious. For the whole flight, Monica, that's impressive. I don't think I could do that. And we've got, we got phone calls, but these are not Nightlight related. Conrad, would you agree with that? Can I stop looking at the text thread?
Well, so there's a problem on Hayward right now. I believe some brewer stations that there's a just ongoing beep right now, and our engineers are looking at it.
Oh, gotcha. So, okay. Yeah. But our phones, if people want to call, are working, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. So we've got Quentin Tarantino's birthday is today.
Yes, it is.
And I feel like, look, he's kind of a strange guy. I love Quentin Tarantino. My favorite film of his for the longest time. And I like parts of all of them. I don't love all of they're all great films. My favorites, I loved Pulp Fiction until I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 5-6 years ago. And I didn't know much about it. I know he kind of takes liberties and changes, rewrites history to the way he wishes it was. And he did that with Hitler in Inglourious Bastards. And he did that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I was not ready for it. I left the theater shaking my head and going, what the heck did I just see? And I went back the next day with my son and watched it. And we both left and we just agreed we loved it. I knew nothing about it when I went into it. And I love seeing movies like that when I don't know too much of what it's about. And Leonardo DiCaprio, great in it. Brad Pitt, I think Brad Pitt won a Best Supporting Actor in it, which that's kind of weird because he didn't have much to do. He was great. He was good. But man, sometimes people win Oscars for stuff that wasn't their best work. It was still very good work. But he was great. DiCaprio was great. And I got to find out the name of the girl. She was she's in a show my daughter watches too. I'll find that out. But anyway, she was amazing.
Was it Margot Robbie?
No, Margot Robbie was great too as Sharon Tate.
Dakota Fanning?
No, what's
Margaret Qualley?
Margaret Qualley was good.
Mikey Madison.
No way was that Mikey Madison.
Sadie is...
Sadie, yeah.
That's Mikey Madison.
I'm looking on the IMDb. Is that true? That was in Anora. Get out of here. Why didn't I put that together? She's fantastic in it. And she's like, I don't know, she's like 14, but she plays a younger girl even who's challenging Leo DiCaprio. I just have to double check that this is her because it's a show my daughter watches that's kind of a bad show. We kind of laugh about it. But anyway, yeah, that's my favorite. That became my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie from 2019. And I've seen it 3 times since. It's a very long movie. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen a full, all the way through, actually.
Okay. It's outstanding. I don't think that's the girl that I'm thinking of. No, it's not Mikey Madison. Mikey Madison's like, what, 25?
I think she's up there.
All right. So that would have really
26,
blown my mind. So that couldn't have been her. No, this is a girl who played like a 10-year-old, and she played an actress doing a scene with Leo DiCaprio, and they have this great talk during the movie, and Leo DiCaprio's borderline washed up, and he hates himself for drinking too much. This is like a side plot in the movie of the Manson family going after Sharon Tate. It's so good. We have a clip, though, from Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah, yep.
What's this clip again?
It is...
I ask you to...
it is when they're like in the diner, I think.
Love it. All right. Is it beeped?
I believe so.
All right, let's
take one more look before.
We've played it before.
We have, yeah.
Let's roll the dice. I think we could do this. This is Quentin Tarantino. It's his birthday. Here's a clip from Pulp Fiction.
Out, honey bunny.
All right, now tell her it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right.
Promise her.
I promise.
Tell her to chill.
Just chill out, honey bunny.
All right, now tell me your name.
Yolanda.
All right, now Yolanda. We're not going to do anything stupid, are we?
Don't you hurt him.
Nobody's going to hurt anybody. We're all going to be like 3 little Fonzies here. And what's Fonzie like? Come on, Yolanda, what's Fonzie like?
It's cool.
What?
Cool.
Correctamundo. And that's what we're gonna be. We're gonna be cool.
Okay, now you let him go.
Yolanda, I thought you were gonna be cool. Now, when you yell at me, it makes me nervous. And when I get nervous, I get scared. And when motherfuckers get scared, that's when motherfuckers accidentally get shot.
Just know, you hurt him, you die.
Well, that seems to be the situation. But I don't want that. And you don't want that. And Ringo here definitely doesn't want that. So let's see what we can do. Now, here's the situation. Normally, both your would be dead as fried chicken. But you happen to pull this while I'm in a transitional period, and I don't want to kill you. I want to help you. But I can't give you this case, because it don't belong to me. Besides, I've been through too much over this case this morning to just hand it over to your dumb.
Well, your thumb's got a workout when you were beeping that clip.
Yes,
My
it did.
God. Julia Butters is the name of the actress who played the girl in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, who has this great scene with Leo DiCaprio. I thought Mikey Madison was a little too old, but they kind of look alike, so I thought maybe it might have been her.
What show was she in?
She was in a show called American Housewife.
That sounds terrible.
It's pretty bad. And you know who's in it is the guy who played the neighbor. I can never think of his name. Played the neighbor in Office Space. He lived next to Ron Livingston. He was always knocking on the wall going, "Hey, Peter, man, check out this chick." You know, he plays the husband. It's not a great show. But this actress, Julia Butters, is really good. And she's very good in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Reiser is here at 7:20. We're talking movies at the Wisconsin Film Festival this year. It starts a week from tonight. And when we come back after the news, I'll read some texts. And we will welcome our pal, Frank Hermans, who will be here. He's got his guitar. He's got his voice. That's all you need to know. He's going to talk about his new show. And he's going to make the popcorn pick of the week. That's coming up next on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Jump in, it ain't no sin. Take a ride in my machine. See the traffic's moving way too slow. Drop the pedal and go. 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 We going riding on the freeway. Oh, love wins against our plans. We going riding on the freeway. Oh, love in my pink Cadillac. We going riding on the freeway.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW. Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. A little good news for your Thursday. Aurora Healthcare is lifting policies that require masks and restrict visitors that have been in place since January. The policies were enacted when a spike in flu, RSV, COVID, and other respiratory illnesses was seen in patients and staff members. Masks are now optional and are available to visitors. Experts say if you feel ill, stay at home. Otherwise, practice good hand hygiene, avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth with your hands, and stay up to date with your vaccines to reduce your chances of catching respiratory viruses. Turnout during the first week of early voting ahead of Wisconsin's pivotal Supreme Court race is far exceeding levels from another high-stakes election just 2 years ago. Here's Joanne Krulatz with details.
It's the latest sign of the high interest in the contest for control of the court, which has drawn attention from President Donald Trump and his advisor Elon Musk. As of today, with a week until the final day of voting, nearly 48% more early votes have been cast compared with this point 2 years ago. More than 345,000 voters have returned ballots. The Wisconsin race also has obliterated the previous record for spending in a U.S. judicial election. The election will determine whether the court remains under 4-3 liberal control.
The American Red Cross is calling on Wisconsin residents to step up and donate blood as the state sees a shortage in supply. Red Cross officials say the demand for blood has outpaced the current supply for quite a while. People with O-negative blood make the best donors because of its compatibility with other blood types, but officials say anyone with any blood type can make a huge difference. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Another record at Netflix falls thanks to a new release. The show Adolescence has already become one of the biggest success stories at the streamer. Crime drama is about a 13-year-old boy accused of killing a girl at his school, set in the UK. It's now the most watched series after pulling in 66 million viewers in less than 2 weeks. Tax incentives for filmmakers is an issue here in Wisconsin, and if Rob Lowe were to weigh in, he would probably say do everything you can to pass them. The difference is the Outsiders actor would rather they did the same thing in California, where they have no incentives for filmmakers other than proximity to studios, equipment, and talent. On a recent episode of his podcast, Lowe said all the city officials in Los Angeles that allowed production to leave the area should be fired. But if they have to leave, I hope they come to Wisconsin. For more showbiz fun, tune into Night Lite with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight to low in the mid-30s. Areas of rain and drizzle for tomorrow, cloudy and a high in the mid-50s. Some rain and thunder tomorrow night, colder for the weekend with areas of rain and breezy at times. Right now it's 53.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. In the race for Wisconsin Supreme Court, so many issues are on the line, from reproductive rights to redistricting to even just basic checks and balances. For right-wing candidate Brad Schimmel, though, one issue deserves more scrutiny, and that's his record on opioid settlements. Here in Wisconsin, it seems like we all know someone who has been directly affected by the devastating opioid addiction epidemic. As Wisconsin's Attorney General, Schimmel refused to join multi-state lawsuits taking on opioid manufacturers. We now know these settlements are having a major impact, as new research shows that overdose deaths are declining significantly in Wisconsin because of funding from these settlements. You have to wonder if things might be unfolding differently had Schimmel been re-elected in 2018. His lack of action and indifference to accountability on this issue should be seen as a real problem as he seeks a seat on the state's highest court.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation Area. Dom Salvia.
Next time, former U.S. Attorney James Santel.
It's time for the Night Lite Popcorn Pick of the Week, where we recommend a movie that you'll either enjoy or won't. Here's your host, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Night Lite. This is Pete Schwaba. As announced by the lovely and talented Todd Michaels. No relation to the lovable producer Conrad, though. But you guys are friends.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, he's more my boss. You know. I'm just kidding, Todd.
He doesn't like you, Todd. We have some texts we'll get to in just a little while. We've got to go through them. Our phones are working, correct?
Yes.
All right. So if you want to call, I'm about to announce a great guest to do the Popcorn Pick of the Week. And if you have a question for him about his shows coming up or whatever, you're welcome to call or text in. It is my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome one of my best pals here at Night Lite. He stops by every once in a while and wows us.
Offbeat drum roll.
With his frankness. It's Frank Hermans. How are you, buddy?
I don't mean to be frank with you, but I am.
Can you give me just a little bit of the voice you did in the Christmas show? You guys get the games out like that.
Oh, that's right. I was that guy. I was kind of a radio announcer, but a stern authoritarian.
But a father.
A father figure,
It's
yes.
like Ted Baxter with kids.
It totally was Ted Baxter a little bit. Just a little bit more authoritative.
I loved it.
Thanks.
Welcome, buddy. I'm so happy you're doing this. We'll talk about movies. I want to talk to you about new shows you got coming up. You always have so much fun stuff to talk about. But let's start with the Popcorn Pick of the Week. So, what's your favorite movie snack, Frank?
my favorite movie snack, and I'll be honest, I do buy these at Quick Trip before I go to a movie.
We've seen
and
a
they're
lot
the
of this.
peanut caramel clusters. They're 2 for $4.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Peanut caramel clusters. There's like they call them turtles. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I know the orange yeah.
Yeah. But I really like them. I order popcorn all the time. Popcorn, and then my kids will whatever soda they want. I just drink whatever they get, and popcorn and the caramels. That's what we do.
It's funny. Most people go to the store, like the dollar store or somewhere to get cheaper candy.
Correct.
But what you're describing is 2 pieces for $4. That's like more than you'd pay at the movie theater. So you
Well,
must really
no,
like
actually,
them.
it's 2 packages. I should say. There's probably 7 of them in each package. So
okay. And
yeah,
you're
I
sneaking
share
them in.
Sneak them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than like
There's nothing to
sneaking
see in this pocket. What do you got in your pocket, huh? What are you packing?
Are those caramel turtles in your
those
pocket, or are you just
yeah.
happy to be here?
Because I got to tell you, I was a junior mint guy for years. Junior mints were my way to go, but they're not that hot anymore. And my kids, they want these Sour Patch crap all the time. Come on, who's going to pay $9 for Sour Patch crap? And then they don't eat half of them.
I know.
You know?
Those are hard to eat. I will say, once in a while, I have a taste.
Yeah,
this is embarrassing.
Do it
for nerds.
Okay,
Nerds
are good.
It's like a taste explosion in your mouth. And I don't really eat candy anymore, but once in a while, like if it's Halloween and they're sitting there, I'll just wolf them down.
You know, I got to tell you, we do enjoy going to Chilton Cinema a lot. My buddy Mike Radu owns this place, and it's pizza. And his pizza is amazing. So I've already ordered his pizza, movie time pizza, not even going to the movie. So, I got kids that are 9, 11, and 13. So we're still going to see these movies that you probably don't go to.
Fun.
And I still enjoy them. I don't sleep through most of them anymore.
Okay.
So, but having a pizza, watching a movie, nothing like it.
Fantastic. Yeah. Do you prefer to watch movies in the theater, Frank?
I do.
Or at home? Okay.
Totally. I'd rather see a new release in a movie theater. I do have, we have Prime, and we'll rent the blockbusters when they come out, but I would rather see. I like the Dolby, the big sound.
Same.
When it comes on, and then I can hear, the stereo stuff, the little things happening in the background. And one of my things, I could see a movie. I normally don't see a movie twice, but I miss some things sometimes, so I'll watch it on Prime or something after. Yeah.
So what kind of, you said you have 3 kids, all still at that awesome movie going age.
Yeah, they are.
What do you typically go see movies that they want to see, or do you ever go with Amy and see like not an adult film, but
we usually have a date night. We went and saw Mickey 17, my
Yeah.
wife and I. Amazing movie, by the way.
Okay.
Black comedy. Robert Pattinson is amazing. Brad Pitt, produced that movie.
Yeah.
But what a story. I mean, it was written back in 2021, a novel, and then the guy dies 17 times. I just think it's so cool. He's called Meat. He signs up to be a expendable, and he wonders why he gets on the spaceship right away because he's an expendable.
They're going to kill him.
Because you're going to kill him. They're going to test all these viruses. It's very funny.
Yeah.
It's very funny and well acted, and I was surprised how good it was. What a sci-fi movie. Gosh, crazy.
Did his voice
drive
you crazy? Oh my God.
It was always like a high voice like that, and he talked to you the whole time. And it was different.
Because I like that filmmaker a lot. And I liked the movie. I didn't love it. My wife did not like it. So
She
it was
didn't
one
like
of
it,
those
huh?
things like
Okay.
where we kind of left going.
Okay.
It's
We
like,
loved, my wife and I absolutely loved it.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. So
And I mean, so many representations too with the commander guy with his false teeth, and
I thought the last hour of it was cool with those creatures.
Yes, the creatures.
And the message was nice. It's all about fear and ignorance.
Of course it is, yes.
So what genre typically, Frank, do you like to watch? Let's say it's just you.
Yep.
The wife's doing something else. The kids aren't around. What does Frank watch?
I like thrillers.
Okay.
I like the Beekeeper. I like The Equalizer. Those are my movies, and that's my older son's type of genre. So my son, we're going to see The Matrix. We're going to see these movies all the time. My older son and my 13-year-old now, he can go to these R-rated movies and get away with it.
This is Harrison?
Harrison. So
Okay.
he's coming with us. So we're going to see those movies. That's what I really like.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of when I watch a TV series like a Landman or something like that, I'm looking for intrigue. I'm looking for thriller. I'm not in it for. I like comedy. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Comedies are fun, but I like a story.
I do too. I'm with you. I don't know why I don't like comedy more than I do, but I always want a mystery, a cop thing, or like The Equalizers. I think all 3 of those are so great,
so well put together storyline, And the new one, who's going to be
Italy?
Yeah, no, there's another one that's coming out. I heard.
Oh,
And it's
really?
going to be some other big name is going to be involved. Am I lying to myself that I just made this up? I don't know.
No, I didn't hear about it, but
yeah,
I love all those.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I like them all about
Denzel's
the same,
70,
too.
man, and he's
I
still
know.
still working,
kicking ass on screen.
Jason Statham's my favorite, one of my favorites too.
I loved here's where I'm at with The Beekeeper. When that came out, I crack up now because all these guys that have mundane jobs, they're really train killers. Like, you can go get a warm pretzel at the movie theater.
Don't make him
no,
mad.
no, that guy's an assassin. Like he's the beekeeper now. He's got a new film coming out where he's a construction worker.
I gotta go see it. You have. I mean, he's making money, so why not do it?
No, listen. And Beekeeper I thought was cool because Felicia Rashad played his
Felicia
landlord.
Rashad. Yes.
And he avenged her, and it's all these scammer telemarketers.
Exactly.
It was like, it struck a nerve with me. I'm like, yeah, kill them all.
And to go through and find them like he did was pretty cool.
Very cool.
And to go through each one, I actually love that.
I love that movie too. All right, so and what about at home, Frank? If you have to watch a movie at home, do you
depends
go
on if the
for a
kids are
different kind of snack, or do you still like popcorn?
I'm a grazer.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I fast every day. I fast for 17 hours. I don't have breakfast. And usually about 2 o'clock, the stomach starts rumbling. So I have a snack or something. So we'll have dinner. And then I'll graze all the way till 10 o'clock till we go to bed. So I try to do healthy stuff.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like the pistachios and carrots. But, it's what the kids are eating,
Yeah.
I just...
So whatever's there.
We do a lot of popcorn.
I got to tell you, I fast as well.
Yeah.
And I've done a 36-hour.
Have
I've
you?
done 18, 16.
Yeah.
I try to just be for the health reasons, it brings your levels down and all that kind of stuff.
Mitochondria, baby.
We'll have
it
to,
produces new cells. If you could do... You did 36 already?
I do 36 semi-regularly.
Okay, because I'm going to do 36 next week. And that's what really has been... If you could do 4 days, they say,
yes,
it's like you are a new human being.
Everything in your body resets.
Gets flushed.
I don't know that I could do
All
that.
the stem cells get going.
Yeah.
My buddy, I kid you not, my buddy did a 96-hour fast. Yeah, Brad Bordini, if he's listening out there, he did. He's a guitar player, singer. Yeah. Well, I think he had cancer and started doing all those things. I think he beat it. He was doing all that stuff.
If I could, Frank, I'd give up eating altogether. I don't see that happening. But what did you call it with the can? Because it refreshes your cells too. I thought it was called autophagy.
It rebuilds. It is autophagy, but it rebuilds the mitochondria, which is the cell building. That rebuilds cells, and what it does, your body. It's fighting. It's like, okay, we got a virus cell. Let's kick that thing out of here.
Yeah.
We got a cell that the mitochondria is bad. Let's kick that thing out of here. So what it does is it's cleansing your body. It's the caveman effect. That's why cavemen only ate every 5 days or 6 days, because they couldn't find.
Why they only lived to be 24.
But they were fit.
They were tight. No, I love that.
Yeah.
And if I could do a 4 there, that whatever it is, I do find that interesting. I don't know that
You did 36 hours. That's
I
very
do
impressive.
it semi-regular, and it's fun. You wake up and you're like, I don't have to think about food today. It's great, and you're not hungry.
When you make it to a certain point, you're not hungry anymore.
Right, and your brain is so sharp. Like you have none of that the gluten clouding. No. Yeah, I know. It's so we're supposed to be pushing popcorn and snacks here. We're talking about not eating. So Frank Hermans is here, ladies and gentlemen. He is about to make the popcorn pick of the week.
There you go. I am.
He has so many some cool stuff opening up soon. We'll talk about that too. So, all right. So I think, are we ready, Conrad? Did we covered?
I got a controversial pick, so let's do it.
I love it. Conrad, if you would, please. Frank Hermans, what is your popcorn pick of the week?
Snow White.
Yeah. How about that?
I went and saw it with my kids 2 days ago. I went with it with an open mind. And I absolutely loved it from start to finish. It's Hollywood, it's Disney, it's glamour. They make that castle look so real. The cottage, the attention to detail with the background. Plus, they sang all the original songs, and then they wrote some new songs. I thought it was great. Everybody's talking about, the dwarves, maybe being weird, but I thought that was cool. They look like the dwarves with skin. They look dopey, look like dopey.
Yeah. And Gal Gadot, great cast as the queen.
God, she can sing too. She is amazing.
She's a great actor. I love her.
She's perfection.
Yeah. And Rachel, I know there was controversy around the movie, some political, but some from the lead actress who said some stuff, and it's sometimes things just take a while to get going. But I love hearing that you really liked it because now I probably will check it out.
Just check it out. If only, the story is the same. They do change a little bit with the handsome guy. And that guy grew on me. The prince. He's not a prince. He's a leader of a rebellion kind of thing.
Okay.
And I like the backstory. How they set up the backstory with the father marrying Gail. After the mother had passed away. So there's all these setups. And he grew on me because he wasn't. The guy's supposed to be really handsome, right? Don't you think that? He wasn't to me. Not that I'm looking for that, but I was thinking, man, this guy's going to be a stud. He's not. He's not. But eventually he becomes one.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, Conrad, does that change your mind about the film?
Did you go see it?
I didn't see it. He didn't see it.
Okay.
We saw reviews on IMDb, and it was so low, it's a joke. I know when I saw those, I'm like, there's some kind of campaign here. Everybody went and.
There's some good reviews.
Yeah.
There's some reviews, that gave it. Who's the girl that plays Snow White?
Rachel Zegler.
Rachel's performance was outstanding. That Gail's performance was outstanding.
Yeah.
Story was a little convoluted, I've heard.
Okay.
And then the dwarf thing.
But the review, even with all the controversy, the reviews are still decent.
My
it's
kids
not like
loved it. It's about
you go with the whole
kids, right?
family.
I brought all my kids, and
that's
they
fun.
absolutely loved it. I loved it too.
Yeah.
Whistle while you work.
Is that what show that's from?
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Dude, yeah.
I haven't seen Snow White in so long.
All right.
So we've got we got a lot to get to. So let's talk about we've got about a minute before we have to do a break. But start us off. Tell us what's coming up next in for Let Me Be Frank.
Yeah, we open up next Thursday already. Isn't that crazy? Our brand new show called The King of Krakow. Now, Krakow is a town west of Pulaski, okay? Back in the probably the 30s to the 80s, it was quite the town. Now it's a ghost town. There was a bowling alley, which is no longer there.
Is it really a ghost town?
Well, there's people that still live there, but all the businesses, hardware stores still there.
It's so sad.
It's closed down. The IGA, Brzezinski's IGA, all that's left is the walls. You can drive through this town. It's so cool. Now there's a hairstylist there, and there's also a bar yet there, but there used to be a lot more going on. And the reason why I thought of King of Krakow was kind of a spoof on the King of Queens, but then I started thinking King of Krakow, like let's do like a Goodfellas thing, And we'll talk about that, eh? Yeah.
We'll talk about that after a very short break. I love the hairstyle, the salon and the bar. Do you go to the salon first and then the bar to look good, or do you go to the bar and get the guts to go get the ridges or whatever you do there?
So.
All right, Frank Hermans is here, folks. He gave us his popcorn pick of the week. It's Snow White. Awesome pick.
Go see it.
Yeah, and we'll come back and talk about the King of Krakow, and he's got another show we're gonna tease right there. Frank's gonna tell us everything he's doing. He's even gonna perform. So you're hearing a great night. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite, Civic Media Radio Network.
Someone's living for her love, and I love her.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 920-332-5578. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 920.
Welcome back to Nightlight. This is Pete Schwaba, your ever-loving host. Great to have you with me tonight. From the 855, this is Kate from Hayward says, Ali says, thanks, Conrad, to that. Was like fingernails on a chalkboard. What's that?
Well, that was the beep from the Brewers after the Brewers game on Hayward.
Oh, the phone issue.
So it is completely fixed. And now you can listen to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Mark in the 608 says, The Long Kiss Goodnight, 1996 is pretty good. Gina Davis and Sam Jackson, I think, giving us his popcorn pick of the week, which is just fine, Mark. Thank you. I do like, have you ever seen that movie, Frank?
No, I have not.
Oh, it's good.
Love Gina Davis.
It's kind of like a Bourne movie.
Okay.
But she's a housewife and all of a sudden stuff comes back. It's really a fun movie. Okay. And Samuel Jackson's hilarious.
He's the best.
Frank Hermans is here, folks. He gave the popcorn pick of the week. It's Snow White, the new Snow White. And now we're going to talk about some of the cool stuff Frank has going on right down the street at the Meyer.
Yeah, our brand new show. It opens up next Thursday. It's a benefit show. Of course, $10 of every ticket goes to the Children's Museum, and we're doing something cool on that opening night. Of course, showtime 7:30. We're doing a red carpet. You can get your picture taken, dressed like you're in the 80s, or just dress up. And we'll take pictures. I got my photographer there that's going to take pictures. We got a backdrop, and $10 of every ticket goes to the Children's Museum. Heather Heil's a great friend of mine, and we even talked about it because she goes, Frank, you've never done a benefit show for me. I go, I haven't. Let's do it. And she's jumping behind this 100%. In fact, if you go on my Facebook page, you'll see an interview. We auditioned Heather, Pat, and I like a spoof. It's funny. She doesn't make the cut. She doesn't make the cut.
She didn't want. Did she really want to be in the show?
No. She just a joke.
Good.
She goes, can I audition? I go, yeah, you can. Let's make it. And it was a funny thing.
Oh, that's funny.
She comes in singing, it's not unusual to have fun with anyone. It's just a...
She's kind of like one of those people that's got everything going on. When she comes in here, I'm amazed at her knowledge of everything happening. It wouldn't have surprised me if you said she had a great voice.
She does. She's a talented young lady.
Yeah.
She's a media mongrel, man. She does radio, TV, and then she's got this great job at... the Children's Museum, and I do a lot of stuff for her, and this is something we can give back to the community. So
That's
I love
so great.
it. Yeah.
Well, good. Another reason to go see the show, which I'm sure is great on its own, but a good cause too. So tell us again. All right, this is the King of Krakow, and it's west of Pulaski.
West of Pulaski, it's Highway 32 in Shawano County. Let me set the scene for you. Okay. First of all, it's like two gangs. We got the Brzezinski gang. The Brzezinski gang owns the IGA store. Okay, and you got Don Brzezinski. I play the enforcer named Lodface, and then we got TikTok, who TikTok comes in, and then we bring in a ringer called Paulie Pencilneck. Okay, Paulie Pencilneck talks like this. It's very funny, very funny. He's a Joe Pesci guy, and then the other cast of characters are the Angels of Angelica. Angelica is a town in Shawano County. They have a gang called the Shananano gang.
Oh, I love
it. Get it? Shawano County. Anyway, so my wife plays Amy Angelica, and then Sarah plays Sarah the Italian because she looks Polish. And then you got Lisa Whackjob. She likes to kill people. Well, she slaps them. So it's kind of a spoof on like Goodfellas and all of those things where they're trying to get more a piece of. They want to move in on each other's territory, and how they're going to do that? Well, they're going to do that by a new sewage company, Pump and Dump. They're going to come and pull everybody's sewage, and so it all ends up at Krakow Lanes. They have a Battle of the Sexes bowling tournament, and the winner, of course, gets the contract. Okay. So, there's all different stuff happening in between. The ringer comes in. He's the best bowler in the area. He's from the south side, South Chase. If you're familiar with Shawano County, there's North Chase and South Chase. So it's just a funny story with great music from the 80s. And it's not like the hairband music. It's pop music from the 80s.
What kind of songs?
Like, I can get up and back, right on track.
I love this.
Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Breakfast Club. We got some Cyndi Lauper in the show. We got some, a little Bruce Springsteen. We were just talking about it. Glory Days, of course, Glory Days. So, yeah,
Oh, my
lots,
gosh.
20 songs from the 80s, and you'll love everything about it, and it's so funny. I got to tell you, Pat's character, TikTok, he's so freaking funny. And we played Don Brzezinski. He's Little Marlon Brando.
That's your guy?
No, I'm Blodface.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I'm named after my donkey, Lod ass. I mean, face. So, and I'm an enforcer.
What is your favorite? Con, let's do an 80s tune going to break.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
New Order
Yeah.
or
Sure.
Shiny Happy or something.
Oh, yeah.
But what is your favorite music? Like, you've pulled from all eras. When you write a show, what gets you the most excited?
I got to tell you, we've done almost every song in the 60s and 70s now. I swear to God. I am sick of 60s and 70s right now. And I love that music. I used to delve into it.
Same.
I mean, 25 years I've been doing shows. Right now, I'm starting to get into more of the 80s that I used to hate because I grew up in the 80s. So that music sucked to me. I was a huge George Michael fan. Huge George Michael fan. I can't even stand his songs anymore. But now that I haven't heard him in a while, going back to the 80s. And I'm writing another show this summer called I Found My Thrill on Scray's Hill. It's all 50s and 60s. So I'm listening to songs I haven't heard in a long time. Doo-wop stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all good. I just love music.
It's great. What I like the 80s stuff I liked, but there were some songs that drive me nuts. But now when I hear them, it takes me back, and it's like it's like an old friend. Even if I didn't like it then.
See, the older I get and the more I understand music, music is music. It's 1-4-5, or it's there's always a pattern to it, Yeah. And as we get older and dumber, we start to track everything, and we come up, we steal everybody's riffs, and then we put them in our songs. Hence, every rap song right now, which is fine, but you're stealing everybody's music.
Right. Sampling.
Right. Sampling.
Frank Hermans is here. He's going to perform for us when we come back, and we'll find out. I'll tell you where you can get tickets to King of Krakow. You probably already know, but we'll go over it anyway, just to be thorough, because Frank's a pal. We're coming right back after the news. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Todd Allball Show.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On a Finally Friday show, we'll welcome Mark Houston with Bell Sports Medicine and Bryce Retzer from Ledge Rock Distillery in Fond du Lac.
Plus, we've got live music from Chris Hendricks in our Heights Pub and Parlor music series. Join us.
Hey, it's Amanda, and we all know that Northeast Wisconsin has some of the best events around, but trying to find them all can be tricky. So here at WGBW, we decided to do the work for you. Prevent boredom on any night by going to WGBW.FM and click events in the top right corner. You'll never have to spend forever scrolling to find out what's going on in your area. And if you got an event to share, hit us up by emailing info@WGBW.FM. We can work together to have real news and great conversation while giving you the 411 on what's happening in New Wisco.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us. This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. States of emergency as 3 wildfires burn in North Carolina. Governor Josh Stein posting this on social media.
There's not enough containment yet, but they are working tirelessly. And what's encouraging is it's the state Forest Service, it's the National Forest Service, it's the Bureau of Indian Affairs, it's local police, fire departments, everybody coming together.
Downed trees from last year's Hurricane Helene providing fuel for the flames. A major shakeup at the Department of Health and Human Services. The agency now confirming about 10,000 full-time employees will soon lose their jobs. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the decision was made to realign the organization with its core mission and new priorities. A federal judge has now ordered the Trump administration to preserve the Signal app chat in which top officials discussed military strikes in Yemen. Buckingham Palace says Britain's King Charles was briefly hospitalized today amid medical treatment for cancer. This is ABC News.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Water sports that cause wakes are now prohibited on the Fox River through the city of Oshkosh, following Common Council action to amend an ordinance. Oshkosh Parks Director Ray Maurer told the Common Council Tuesday that the amendment is an attempt to reduce wakes that are causing shoreline erosion and improve safety on the river.
Anytime we have any ordinance change or anything that affects our boat launches, we will, we've got informational kiosks at each of the boat launches. We'll be posting that information, highlighting the amended ordinance. I will be also working with the local boat clubs, getting them information as well, and we'll work with the marinas throughout the areas. Social media posts as well will explain that.
The ordinance affects the entire Fox River through the city of Oshkosh from its mouth by the Leach Amphitheater to Rainbow Park. The former principal at Xavier High School in Appleton, Mike Mouthy, exchanged hundreds of emails with a student containing what could be classified as inappropriate conversations. Documents released by the Appleton Police Department to area news agencies show Mouthy had a personal relationship with a female senior who classified their relationship as manipulative and unhealthy. While the school officials were concerned about, quote, grooming behavior by Mouthy, Appleton Police found no criminal activity and no charges were filed when it concluded its investigation in January. Following a child pornography investigation, a Neenah police officer has been fired. Owen Halls was with the department for only 1 year. Kaukauna police executed multiple search warrants on Wednesday following a tip from the Internet Crimes Against Children group. Neenah Police Chief Aaron Olson said Hall's alleged conduct has disgraced the department and law enforcement. Olson fired Halls. No official charges have been filed yet, and Kaukauna police are continuing their investigation. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
The Brewers lose the opener. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers losing to the Yankees today, 4-2 at Yankee Stadium. Closer Devin Williams, in his first appearance for the Yankees against his former team, loaded the bases with no outs in the top of the ninth and gave up a run. Williams managed to get out of the jam, striking out Jackson Churiel and Christian Yelich to get the save. A new face in the Brewers lineup, Vinny Capra, started the game at third base and had a solo home run shot in the top of the third. The two teams have tomorrow off. The series resumes on Saturday. NBA, the Bucks are back home after a long West Coast trip. They lost last night in Denver, 127-117. Head coach Doc Rivers.
Yeah, honestly, I thought when we lost the game, I told our coaches we had to make about four to five more threes than them. And I thought if we did that, we would win the game. And I think it was a dead heat, right? So that might have been the difference.
Giannis out with a sprained foot. Damian Lillard is out indefinitely. The Bucks host the Knicks tomorrow night. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News. Your news in depth. Find it in the news section at WGBW.FM.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight to low in the mid-30s. Areas of rain and drizzle for tomorrow, cloudy and a high in the mid-50s. Some rain and thunder tomorrow night, colder for the weekend with areas of rain and breezy at times. Right now it's 53.
The Todd Alba Show.
Rob in Port Edwards.
I've been canvassing for over a month. My encouragement to each and every listener out there, if you are passionate about this, and I hope you are, talk to people and encourage them and give them straight information. What you really don't want to do is be confrontational. But if you respect these people, odds are they're going to say, hey, this guy is, he's square. He's got a point there.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Matt Nair on air.
You may say to yourself, Self, what if I want to contact Doge and let him know that I'm unhappy with these cuts?
Do you know who had the same idea? Congressman Mark Pocan.
We couldn't get that number off the Doge website, and they literally just said that there is no one that you can speak to, and they didn't provide anything.
The administration of transparency. But you can't talk to anybody. That's okay.
Matt Nair on air. Weekdays 10 till noon on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, how much of a concern should it be if foreign countries are buying up Wisconsin?
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Night Light with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who prefers to travel by catapult, Pete Schwaba.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is true. Welcome back to Night Light. We are having a lot of fun here tonight. Frank Hermans is here. I got to talk about this real quick. This is a great contest we're doing here at Civic Media, ladies and gentlemen. It's Break Into Spring, the Text to Win statewide contest, your daily chance to win a Chula Vista Getaway, Milwaukee Brewers club-level tickets at a game, Frank. They're not just giving you the seats to sit. You actually get to watch a game while you're there. And $100 cash. Plus, every entry puts you into our grand prize drawing of a brand new queen mattress set from Verlo that includes a mattress, sheet set, mattress protector, and pillows. The times for Text to Win are 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 4 p.m. You have to download the app to play. I'm sure you already have it, but in case you don't, it's easy to use, and you just click the little text icon, and you are off to the races. Good luck, everybody. Frank Hermans is here. Ben Reiser is coming up in a few minutes to talk Wisconsin Film Festival, but we have a few more minutes with Frank. How can people get tickets?
Very simple. There's a lot of different ways. Well, first of all, you can go to meyertheater.org because we're at the Meyer Theater. We're the main tenant. We do 80 shows a year there.
Great theater.
Great theater.
Love it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Or you can go to ticketstaronline.com. Or you can go to my website, letmebefranks.com. They all have, you can just click right through for tickets. Or if you're, some folks, believe it or not, they still don't do the old click through the internet. They want to call. They want a direct ticket. You can call TicketStar, and it is open only from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday at 920-494-3401.
There are a lot of ways to get tickets.
No
excuses.
No excuse.
I'll say this: I got tickets for my parents for Christmas to your show in Marinette, and it's a great. If you're looking for a great. And I'm not just saying this. It's a great present for people to send them to a show because sometimes they might not. My folks would have gone anyway, probably, but a lot of times people won't go see something like this. So if you're looking for a good gift to get someone,
what'd they think of Cher?
Theater. My dad was traumatized.
Yes, he was.
He loved it. They absolutely loved it. And it's a fun. I think I had a charity thing that night, or I would have been there because you were right in my backyard.
Sure.
But
we'll be back. We'll be back up there next year. Yeah, we're working on some dates. So
I hope so, man. It's such. You guys have so much fun. So tell us about your other show coming out.
Yeah,
Brent the Musical.
The reason why we brought this back because of course we started as. Look who's here out there. Good to see you, Christine.
It's our neighbors bringing down the rent, bringing down the property values.
Did we just get flashed? No, we did.
Yeah, Ed flashed us.
So, Brent the Musical. I wrote this story, controversial. Brett Favre leaving us, going to the Jets, and then being pursued by the Minnesota Vikings. So I wrote a show called Brent the Musical. And the story is he's got two buddies, Frankie Bag of Long Johns and Chewy instead of Chunky or whatever, or Chunky instead of Chewy. So, and he plays softball. He's the best softball pitcher in Green Bay, and he plays for the Bar. But he's thinking about retiring. Yeah, he's thinking about, and there's a new upcomer coming up. Well, we'll get into that a little later. Behind him, who's almost as good as him. Then the stadium view, Lisa Purple, we'll call her. Okay, like the Minnesota Vikings, comes calling and offering him, more free pitchers of beer to come play for that bar, play softball.
Oh, I love this.
So the controversy is about two women because there's a lot of stuff going on about women and Brett Favre back in the day.
Yeah.
We talk about the texting. We talk about all the cool stuff back in the day. And eventually he does move on to the green and gold, but the new person comes on. We call him, what is his name in the show? Darren Rogers.
Darren
Rogers comes as the new pitcher for the Bar. And most of the songs in the show I wrote, so it was kind of a fun thing for me to write music for a show. We do have other, like Hall & Oates is in the show, some other songs about sports. But this show, when we did it 15 years ago, we did it all over the state. We premiered it at the Widener in their small theater.
Oh, nice.
We went down to La Crosse, did it in Wausau, did it in Milwaukee. So this show was pretty prominent because of what was going on in the news. Well, we thought we'd bring it back because the draft, right? Everybody's up here. So I know people will be gone, but it's May 7th through the 10th It's a couple weeks after the draft. It's still in people's mind. Football. You can see the story, how we write about Brett Favre. It's called Brent the Musical, so I don't get a cease and desist. Okay?
Right.
And it tells a story about, not making up your mind. That's the whole thing. Have you ever made up your mind? That's the theme song in the show, and it's about someone who can't make up
Which
his mind.
apparently when you put on the green and gold and you
Correct.
play quarterback, people have a tough time with it.
And there's more similarities to Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre than you would think.
How about that?
It's just crazy. Both go to the Jets. Both, they struggle. I mean, but you know what? I don't think Aaron's going to be going to Minneapolis, though.
But before it got crazier, before they turned into these sort of spacey or couldn't make up their mind, they gave you some pretty good years.
Oh, they gave some great years. They're still my heroes.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I love Brett. And
Brent or Darren? Who do you like better?
Well, I play Brent in this show because I got gray hair, and I got the cutoff shirt with the number 4 upside down. It's so funny. So we're talking like we're playing football, but we're really on a softball team, and I'm a great slow pitcher.
Oh,
That's what I'm
nice.
good at. So
do you have actual pictures, inappropriate pictures on your phone that you do on
No, but we use the phone. Okay. And one of them, it's so funny, Lisa Green, who was my girlfriend at the time, I send a text to Lisa Purple, and she sees it, and she turns around with a full bottle of beer in her mouth and spits right in my face. It's one of the coolest scenes because every night I'm not expecting it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, God. It is a fun show. And what's cool about this, we're going back to our roots. It's dinner theater. It's at the Meyer Theater, but it's at the backstage. 150 seats a night. That's it. Dinner and a show. It's an Italian buffet, and you get to see. We started as a dinner theater back in the days, back in the Sports Corner days, and at the SC Grand, it was dinner and a show. So, and it's pretty cost effective for everybody to come on out, and tickets are on sale right now.
Okay.
And there's only limited number, 150 a night. We got lots of seats available right now.
A week runs?
Yeah, a week run. That's it. We're going to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 2 shows on that Saturday, matinee and an evening show.
Rumor on the street is that you're going to play something.
Yeah, I wrote a song
from the show, right?
This song.
Love the 12-string, dude.
I had to bring the 12-string for this, man.
Love it.
And this song, my wife is singing to me. So I'm gonna sing it like a guy though, but she's singing it to me.
But this is from Brent?
This is from Brent the Musical, and the whole thing that she is saying to me is to continue to do what you do. Love what you do. Continue to play.
Okay.
Continue to play. Just play. just play. Throw the ball and play.
Very nice.
Cute.
Very cute.
Huh?
Brent
Cute
the
little song.
Musical.
Brent the Musical, baby.
That's Frank Herman's. That's a great song, dude.
Thank
You wrote that.
I did. I wrote that for my wife. Now, it's in a different key when she sings it. It's in
Yeah.
D, so it's higher. I can only play it in G.
Do you ever get, like, you do these shows, I'm sure you get very attached to them. Like, King of Krakow is what, a 2-week run?
That's a 3-week run.
3-week run.
Yeah.
Do you ever
15 shows.
want to extend it because you like the show
A
so
lot.
much, but you got another
Yeah.
show coming that you also wrote that you have to?
You know, it's funny you say that because there's some shows where like, God, I can't believe this is like Christmas, 5 weeks, my God. I got to sing Rudolph again. But yeah, these shows that are 3 weeks, we used to do 4-week runs. I've kind of consolidated a little bit. We still do the same number of shows, but we do them in 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks because we're all getting older. We all have children. We all have things to do. So I'm making it, everybody has a full-time job.
Yeah.
Working for me is full-time. So, want to give them a break.
so
We still do 5 shows a year, 80 dates.
Wow.
So we're at the Meyer Theater, yeah. So.
That's a good gig. Do you ever, Frank, all right, you're kind of an institution. You employ these people, you put up shows, you're prolific, you're always putting up new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever want to do something else that you don't write? Like as an actor, do you ever go, it might be fun to step out of my comfort zone?
I've been asked to do some stuff like a musical or something. I don't know.
It's tough when you're the boss.
When you're doing it
call
yourself.
the shots,
You
yeah.
call the shot. I don't really like being told what to do anymore.
Yeah. And you have a company. I mean, you
do.
have to.
I have I'm all about it. And, if anybody else in my troupe wants to do other things, and they do, because they're so talented. I mean, all my girls, some of them are in other bands. Project Pink, which is my wife is in there, and Lisa Borley. They have other side hustles. Pat has some side hustles. I do Elvis on the side. We got our tribute shows that we do all over the place. So I'm too busy to do anything else. But I'll still do speaking stuff, or I'll do a commercial here and there. The news fill in. So I got all these like games I can play all the time.
That's awesome.
It's
Thank
pretty
you
cool.
for bringing the 12 string.
Isn't that beautiful?
That just gives me the shivers. It's such a great
sounds
sound.
so
dude.
good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Buddy, good luck with King of Krakow and with Brent the Musical.
Thanks for
I'm
having
going
me,
to try to
Pete.
see Brent. I would
All
love
right.
to come down. Maybe I'll
I know
bring
a guy.
my wife down for
I know
that.
a guy who has tickets.
Well, there's no shortage of where you can get tickets, certainly. You've got all these great outlets. Frank Herman's, ladies and gentlemen, a Green Bay institution. Thanks,
you,
sir.
brother. See you
all
next
right, we're
time.
coming right back with Ben Reiser from the Wisconsin Film Festival. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And she's taking a drag, now they're going to bed, and my stomach is sick, and it's all in my head, but she's touching his chest now. He takes off her dress, now let me go.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matinee on Air.
While the teams get ready to choose their top draft pick, you can help Mino and the Mayor choose their top craft pick.
Northeast Wisconsin is home to amazing breweries, wineries, cideries, and distilleries, and we need your help picking the best.
We've drafted 10 of our favorites, but which local craft beverage creator will go to number 1? That's up to you. Top craft pick creators include Kerrigan Brothers Winery in Kaukauna, Stillmank Brewing Company in Green Bay, Old Station 31 Spirits in Dale, and Old Bavarian Brewing Company in Appleton. Vote for your favorite now by logging on WGBW.FM and click on Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick. When you vote, you'll enter a random drawing to win $250 in gift cards from participating craft creators. Don't wait. Voting ends Friday, April 18th. Log on WGBW.FM and click on Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick and vote right now. Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick, drafting Northeast Wisconsin's finest one sip at a time. Keeping you connected to your local community with good news and great conversation. Here's Terry Barr with the Civic Media Radio Network.
He's delivering on the promise he made last season. Packers quarterback Jordan Love pledged to donate new sports cleats to entire teams in need this spring for every touchdown he scored. Now, 26 teams across the state are getting those new cleats. Green Bay News Bureau Chief Lisa Hale explains Love's goal.
The Love for Cleats campaign aligns with the Hands of Love Foundation's overall mission to encourage children from all backgrounds to engage in sports, promoting physical and mental well-being.
The average price of decent sports cleats runs around $150. Softball, baseball, football, and soccer teams, including Marinette, Oconto, Howard Swamico, Green Bay East and West, Appleton West, and Kiwanis.
Welcome back to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pete Schwaba, your dedicated host. Catching up on some texts here. Sherry says, good evening, Pete and Conrad. Good evening, Sherry. And then Sherry says, I have to have an MRI on my brain in a week. You have to hold still in a tube for 20 minutes. I don't know if we can consider that raw dogging, Sherry, but I do wish you luck, and I hope everything turns out okay, as always. Mark, we read Mark's text. Where is Anna from Madison? Says, Pete, I agree. Once Upon a Time in America was a good movie. I think Leonardo DiCaprio should have won an Oscar instead of Brad Pitt. I wasn't expecting that ending. Me either, Anna. And like I said, I didn't know anything about the movie when I went into it, kind of on purpose. And kind of it was a spur-of-the-moment thing, and I just, I loved it. It became my favorite Tarantino movie. So keep those texts coming, folks. Our question of the night is, how long do you think you could sit quietly in a room and do nothing? Thanks to the philosopher Blaise Pascal for that question, and Putty raw-dogging it on Seinfeld. Kind of the same thing. I said maybe I could do 30 minutes. Conrad said 30 seconds, or what did you say, like 2 minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. That's not bad. Let's ask our next guest what he thinks. Ben Reiser works for the Wisconsin Film Festival. He is a movie buff and a podcast host, and he knows more about movies than most of us have forgotten, and he's always fun to talk to here on Nite Lite. Ben, how are you?
Good, Pete. How are you?
Doing well. How are you holding together, my friend? You've got a film festival opening in 1 week, and what still has to be done? What stages are you in? I can't even imagine the chaos.
I'm at the stage where I would love to just sit quietly in a room and do nothing for the next 5 days. That would be awesome. But I still
for that long?
I am still working on the festival trailer that gets shown before every single one of our screenings. I'm particularly late this year in delivering that piece of film.
You did one last year, and this is a little video Ben makes for every screening at the Wisconsin Film Festival, just to kind of tell people to, what would you say? It's like a welcoming video, turn the lights down low.
It's what we need to do sort of contractually for all of our sponsors. We throw them up on the screen, their logos, but I try to make it more than that. And so about 11 years ago, we decided we should write a festival theme song, which we did. We kind of made it like this sort of folksy campfire song. But my version of a campfire song, when I was a kid in the 70s, I used to go to summer camp up in Maine, Freedom, Maine, as a matter of fact, Camp Hidden Valley. And at the end of our season up there, the last night of camp, we would all sit around this campfire, and the teenage and 20-year-old counselors usually had acoustic guitars and would sing songs, and the kids would sort of sing along, but they weren't real folk songs. They were more like 70s, like AM gold, like we would sing like Leaving on a Jet Plane, that kind of stuff. So that's my idea of a campfire song. So we wrote this Wisconsin Film Festival song that we hoped sounded kind of like AM 70s, John Denver-ish, Carpenters kind of stuff. And people really liked it. And so we've been most years doing some kind of variation of that song, either using some of the same lyrics or some of the same melody, and then doing all kinds of different visuals. So we've done everything from like a 1940s like song and dance, like a Hollywood musical, to last year we did. I'm sorry, I actually interrupted your story about last year's trailer, which was a bunch of. We went to some karaoke bars around Madison and had people do karaoke versions of our festival theme song, and then we mashed a bunch of those together, and I think it worked out really well.
Some of those singers were great. You had one guy who did like a Les Mis thing.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking out my phone and recording that. And I'm not sure I'm allowed to do that, but it was great. And then one year you did a more jazzy film noir bar type thing where you had
Yeah.
dancers from UW come out
Yeah.
and sing a more upbeat. Every year I look forward to it. It's just a lot of fun. So you're still putting that together for this year.
Yeah. A matter of fact, I really just started today.
You got,
And that's in between my civic media radio blitz. You know, I started off
Yeah.
this morning on your fine network with
You were on John and Gordy.
John Gordy.
Yeah.
Actually was in the studio for the first time on civic media. Something
Look
you've
at
never had
that.
me do. Yeah.
You know, I don't like awkward banter on the way out of the studio.
Right,
Ben. That's why I
right,
prefer to
right.
keep it on the stream. No, you know I'll have you on
Right. Well, when we
sometime,
do your PBS show, there's like a whole army of assistants that sort of usher you out and don't make eye contact with Pete in the hallway.
That is on March 31st. That will air. It's the PBS Director's Cut Wisconsin Film Festival edition, which is really fun, folks. Check it out. That's another preview at the Wisconsin Film Festival. I'm the host. Ben is one of the guests. Did a great job. That's Monday night, March 31st on PBS. So check that out too. But lots of information out there about the film festival, Ben. Other than that, what still needs to be done? You've obviously got the films booked, the venues. Is it just about accommodations for everybody coming to town?
Yeah, there's a lot of communicating with all. I think we have close to 100 guests of the festival coming this year, filmmakers and other industry professionals. And there's a lot of communication that we have to have with them because a lot of these people are sort of on a festival circuit and they can't remember what city they're in. You know, how does this festival work compared? How do I get my tickets for my own film for this festival compared to this festival? Wait, did you send me a hotel reservation confirmation? Or so there's a lot of anxious filmmakers writing to us saying, explain to me again what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And so there's a lot of back and forth communication. There's a lot of venue setup. A lot of the theaters that we use are not movie theaters the rest of the year. And so we need to get in there with the crew and make sure the projectors are working and the sound system is working and the seats are not broken and the floors are clean. All this crazy stuff, like set up screens and masking for the edges of the screens. This year at the Barrymore, we have this great project where we're going to be hanging these heavy curtains against the back wall of the Barrymore, which is going to significantly improve the sound at the somewhat cavernous, boomy Barrymore. But that still hasn't happened yet. And so at this stage, it's like I'm really trying to fit 15 days worth of work into the next 5 days. And it's not that fun.
I think part of the charm is like when you guys go guerrilla and you've got venues that show movies and cool old theaters, and then you've got these makeshift things that can take a charm on all by themselves. Ben Reiser is here. We're going to do the news, and we'll come back and tell you about some of the films you can see at this great film festival we're talking about and who will be there and all kinds of fun stuff. Great to have you with me on this Thursday night. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. Ben Reiser's here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From Hobart to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The Public Service Commission of Wisconsin is reminding residents to get caught up on their energy bills before the end of the winter moratorium on April 15th. Between November 1st and the 15th of April every year, utility companies are prohibited from disconnecting heating services due to non-payment. With the moratorium set to expire soon, residents who've fallen behind on their payments could be at risk of losing service again. Those residents should reach out to their utility providers to establish a payment plan or seek aid through state programs. The election to fill a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat is quickly becoming a referendum on the Trump administration and a test of enthusiasm on both sides. Joanne Kruletz explains.
For national Republicans, the race is all about President Donald Trump. But Democrats are trying a new tactic, focusing their fire on Elon Musk, the billionaire who is the race's biggest donor by far. The vote on April 1st will be the first major test of American politics since the president secured a second term in November, serving as an early barometer of how voters feel about the direction Trump is taking the country in one of the most contested battleground states.
Filmmakers in Wisconsin are highlighting an aspect of the budget proposal from Governor Tony Evers that would encourage more filmmakers to work in our state. The proposal would create the Office of Film and Creative Industries under the Department of Tourism and would offer film production tax incentives. The state used to have a similar office and tax incentives, but they were cut by state lawmakers. Filmmakers say producing movies and television shows has been proven to bring economic benefits and support job growth. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. If you're headed to the theater this weekend, here are some flicks that might be worth a look. If you're in the mood for a horror comedy, check out Death of a Unicorn starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega as a father-daughter duo headed to a party when they accidentally kill a unicorn. The film is pulling an almost fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes at 57%, and it's rated R. Another horror film opening is The Woman in the Yard, about an ominous-looking woman who mysteriously appears in a family's yard and gives dire warnings. No reviews in yet, so proceed with caution. Action fans might want to check out Jason Statham's new movie called A Working Man, where Statham's character is a mild-mannered construction worker with a Special Forces military background. You might think you've heard this story before, but no. This is much different than his last film, where he was a trained killer hiding his identity as a beekeeper. In A Working Man, Statham goes after the human traffickers who have kidnapped his boss's daughter. Be careful out there, folks. Pretty much everyone with a mild-mannered job is a trained killer. Let's go to the movies. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Increasing clouds tonight to low in the mid-30s. Areas of rain and drizzle for tomorrow, cloudy and a high in the mid-50s. Some rain and thunder tomorrow night, colder for the weekend with areas of rain and breezy at times. Right now it's 53.
As a federally licensed broadcast company, this Civic Media station is required by FCC regulations to accept advertising by all qualified candidates for federal office. We also accept ads from state and local candidates. We do screen announcements from issue groups and PACs and exercise discretion in airing announcements with blatantly false claims or outrageous unfounded statements. These announcements do not necessarily reflect the views of Civic Media, its hosts, or advertisers, and the source of all issue announcements can be found online at our FCC public file.
Ready for the ultimate getaway? Picture this, a cozy cabin in Wisconsin's Northwoods, surrounded by nature's beauty, crystal clear lakes, and endless adventure. Be it fishing, boating, snowmobiling, or just kicking back by a campfire under the stars. This is relaxation like never before. Cook your own meals, enjoy private docks, and even bring your furry friends along for the ride. It's a perfect spot for family fun, a romantic retreat, and more. What kind of trip are you planning? Book your Northwoods vacation rental at simpleLifeRentals.com.
Todd Albaugh.
Hey, everybody, join us next time. We'll take a look at the daily headlines.
There's a problem, feathers, iron, bargain buildings, weights and pulleys, feathers hit
Welcome back.
the ground.
Great to have you with me, folks, on this Thursday night. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba, riding shotgun, as always, is the lovable producer Conrad. Coming up tomorrow night on Nightlight, the singing duo extraordinaire Amelie and John, also known as 7,000 Apart, will be here in the studio. And it's also a bar band Friday night, and our friend Terry Barr will join us with new music that you can also hear on Max Inc. Radio Saturday nights on Civic Media. So on All Things Music night tomorrow and some good live entertainment right here in the studio, Amelie and John are fantastic. They're not just bi-coastal, they are bi-continental. So they will be here tomorrow because they're in Green Bay and their second home. Right now, Ben Reiser is here from the Wisconsin Film Festival. Ben joins us from time to time to talk movies and TV, and he is talking about everything going on starting in 1 week at the Wisconsin Film Festival. Ben, what, I had John Roach on earlier this week. I watched his film. He sent me a link. Wow, is that powerful?
Yeah.
That is like just, I'm watching it, and half the time I'm so enamored with UW and Madison, and then it's heartbreaking. It's just such a great doc.
Yeah. And that's showing at the Barrymore. I thought it would be fun to just talk about everything that's at the Barrymore over the weekend.
Sure.
Because tickets have been selling like hotcakes for this year's festival. I mean, we are so far ahead of where we were this time last year or the year before.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of screenings have literally sold out of advance tickets. And there might be some tickets available at the door if people don't show up. We always do these rush lines where people can line up, and we'll sell empty seats to people waiting in line if it's 5 minutes before the screening and people with tickets have not shown up. Because a lot of times people buy 20, 30 tickets to movies in advance of the festival, and then maybe halfway through the festival, they're like, I think I've seen enough movies, and they just kind of give up. But yeah, A Road at Night, that John Roach film, is playing Sunday night at the Barrymore. I was just, I made a connection in my brain. Conrad, I think Conrad picks the tunes coming in and out of breaks, or do you tell him what to do?
I tell him what to download, but then he is Mr. DJ.
He just played REM.
Yeah.
And Michael Shannon, the actor.
Love him.
Chicago guy. Terrific actor.
DePaul. Yep.
But do you know what Michael's been doing for the last couple months? He's been out on the road with a band doing REM covers. Like, he's touring basically as like an REM cover band. And I think the tour that they have been on recently, they've been covering all of the Murmur album or Fables of the Reconstruction, one of the early REM albums. Huh. I only bring them up because there's a connection to the festival. We're showing a Michael Shannon film this year. We're showing the film Premium Rush, which is about a New York City bike messenger played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and his nemesis, the villain of the piece, is Michael Shannon. And the film is written by David Koepp, who's a UW-Madison alum, one of the most famous and big-name screenwriters in the world. Recently has been writing all of Steven Soderbergh's movies. Like, he wrote that Presence film. He wrote the film that's out in theaters now, Black Bag. But, of course, he also wrote Jurassic Park. I mean, if you start talking about a list of movies that David Koepp has written and then sometimes directed, your mind will be blown. But anyway, David Koepp is coming to the festival. We're showing Premium Rush starring Michael Shannon, who's currently basically the substitute for Michael Stipe in REM.
Wow.
And so there we go. Bringing it all back to you and Nightlight.
Why is he doing that? Like, Michael Shannon's a great actor, but why would he? I mean, does he just love music and he's got money and doesn't care, or what?
Yes, but yes, all that's true. But he does a great job, and people love this thing. People have gone wild for this Michael Shannon REM thing, including REM themselves, who haven't performed as a band live in, I think, over a decade. He played his show in Atlanta a few weeks ago. And they all showed up, and they all joined him on stage at one point. So it was really the first REM reunion in a long time. So it's got official endorsement from the band itself.
That's really cool. Will he be in Madison?
We thought about asking him, but he's busy. Yeah. He's busy with this REM thing. He doesn't have time for film festivals anymore. Although he just directed a film that I think is coming out fairly soon.
He's an incredibly talented guy.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about John Roach's film. Great film. Highly recommend it. A Road at Night.
Yeah.
We also had Ethan Ogilvy on the other night, who wrote the film, The Threesome. And I will say, Ben, he was on here and he kept saying, and as much as I want to tell you what makes people gasp 20 minutes into the film, he goes, I just can't.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you. And he really teased it. So I hope some of the listeners in the Madison area are buying tickets to that, because his film sounds really good.
Yeah, that's another one that's playing at the Barrymore. So anyway, I wanted to talk about Barrymore films because other than opening night at the Barrymore, which is the new Paul Rudd comedy Friendship, which sold out in an hour after tickets went on sale, which has never happened for us at our large venues. Like, the Barrymore is an 800-seat theater.
Yeah.
We've never sold a show at the Barrymore. We never sold it out in less than like 3 weeks. This thing was crazy. But other than that, everything else at the Barrymore, although we've sold a ton of tickets, we still have plenty of tickets, and none of the other films showing there over the weekend, I think, are in any real danger of selling out. but we put them at the Barrymore because everything we're showing there, we thought, well, this will attract a lot of people, and I guess we were right. We've got this another sports documentary. It's interesting. We have at least 3 sports-related films at this year's festival. A Road at Night, as we just talked about, but we also have this great Green Bay Packers related film called No Packers, No Life, and it's about Japanese hardcore fans of the Green Bay Packers. These are people who live in Tokyo but go to their favorite sports bar every week and watch the Packers. They actually have pre-recorded videos of older Packers games that they really liked, and they show those from time to time and act like they're seeing it for the first time. And this is about they at one point make a decision that they want to all as a group fly to the U.S., come to Lambeau, and get to see the Packers play in person. And so this documentary sort of follows them on that journey. It's so much fun. And
that looked really fun. Craig is the director, right? Craig Benzine. He was on Director's Cut. You can see that interview too if you tune into PBS Monday night. But that sounds fun. When is that at the Barrymore? Because you've got that, A Road at Night, Meet the Parents.
That's right before A Road at Night. So No Packers, No Life at 4:30, and then A Road at Night at 7 p.m., both on Sunday, April 6th. And the other thing about the Barrymore, it's a beautiful old theater. If you haven't been to it, it has had previous lives as a movie theater. Even an adult movie theater at some point in the 70s, I believe. I think in the 70s, they would show adult movies most of the time, but on the weekends they would show like children's films, and so you had to sort of be careful that you weren't. I think both sets of constituents had to be careful they weren't
literally fun for the whole family.
Yeah. There's another sports film about the Milwaukee Brewers called Just a Bit Outside, and Bob Uecker recently passed away, but this is about their great run that they had in, I can't remember, it was 1982 or 1983. 82,
now that's sold out, right? Because Sean was on the show a couple weeks ago, or last week maybe, and that's not surprising that one went fast.
Right. But again, if you really want to see it, come get in line, and we usually find a way to get people into the movies they want to see, whether they've got tickets or not.
That's so.
I mean, they can. I'll break out a folding chair and say, "Here you go."
The Barrymore too is so great because it's like one of those old. They have the stars on the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's got a balcony. It's just it's an institution, and
it's in a great funky neighborhood with lots of cool restaurants, and the parking is really not that bad. Better than on campus, I would say. And then we've also got a bunch of music films, including 2 at the Barrymore that I'm super excited about. One of them, I don't think we can say on Civic Media. It's this Rolling Stones documentary from the early 70s that was never really released. This famous documentary filmmaker Robert Frank made it. Its title is Not Safe for Work or Young Children. But if you look in our online film guide at wifilmfest.org, you can read the title in all of its glory. But it sort of follows the Stones on one of their early 70s tours. There's a lot of backstage stuff, a lot of stuff that maybe doesn't paint the Stones in the greatest light as far as drug use or abuse of roadie or of groupies. But it's there, and it's a very, very hard to see film. They only let it get shown once in a great while, and Mike King, our artistic director, has been after this one for years, and he finally got it, and we're showing it at the Barrymore. And then we've also got a great new documentary about John Lennon and Yoko Ono and their time in New York in the 70s, called 1 to 1 John and Yoko, which I think is going to be opening wide fairly soon around the country. But we're showing that at the Barrymore. So, great. Some great music and some great sports. And, of course, lots of great films about all kinds of things.
My guest is Ben Reiser. Ben works for the Wisconsin Film Festival. He handles all the operations, helps pick films. You book Cinematheque too, right?
Yeah.
You kind of do it all. But he's here talking about the Wisconsin Film Festival, which opens a week from tonight. And again, if you want more information, you can even tune into PBS on Monday night for Director's Cut, where I host, and Ben is one of my guests, and we talk about the Wisconsin Film Festival. That's a fun one to do every year. Ben, let's not forget, on Saturday, Greg Liana, Jim Vincent coming in to have. All right, so Greg, as he's been on this show several times, Greg's my one of my writing partners. We wrote a lot when we both first moved to LA, and we were kind of a writing team, and I met Greg right after he finished the original Meet the Parents. It came out, played at the Music Box in Chicago. and it got such
Right.
great reviews. It's a very it's Meet the Parents. It's still the same story, but it's a little darker and a little smaller, a little more believable, frankly, than the studio film.
Sure.
Greg is showing his version, which was financed by the comedian Emo Phillips. I don't know if Emo's going to be there, but it's a great movie. That's showing at the Barrymore at 1:00 on Saturday, and I know that because I believe I'm introducing it and doing the Q&A.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil anything, but do you know the story about why? What did it? My understanding is that like the studio or Ben Stiller's production company or somebody just like said, Greg, we love the movie, we want to buy it from you, so we can never show it again, and we're going to just remake it with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro. Is that the story?
Well, probably some derivation, but he did he and Mary Ruth Clark, his writing partner at the time, did a version for the studio, maybe 2 drafts. It sat on the shelf, and then Steven Soderbergh saw it and wanted to make it, loved it. He passed along at some point, and then Jay Roach found it and took it off the shelves and made it into Meet the Parents. But the writer they hired took Greg's name off the script. Very Bush League move, and I'm being generous by saying that. But so there's a book out now about that I'm sure Greg will talk about. But overall, it was still a positive experience for him, and it put some money in his pocket. But he created this franchise, and I feel like he's kind of undervalued in the whole process, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like this other guy, I can't remember, Derek somebody. You should get him on the show. This guy who created the whole John Wick thing. He wrote the original John Wick, and I think he wrote the first sequel, and then got sort of taken off the franchise. But he's a Madison guy.
Really?
He's a Wisconsin guy. Yeah.
Derek
Kolstad, I think is his name.
Is he in the
I've been wanting to get. Yeah, he's the writer of John Wick, the original John Wick.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure he's got residual checks coming in constantly.
Yeah, I think he writes for Disney now. I think he wrote some of those like Star Wars TV shows for them.
That's awesome. All right, so who do you have in terms of you guys do such great work when you bring in these restored films? Do you have any big restored films coming in this year? Those are fun to watch on the big screen.
Yeah, and we have special guests that come along with them. We're showing the Matt Dillon film that's an adaptation of one of those S.E. Hinton novels. They were making those movies like one a month back in the 80s and 90s. This is called Tex, and it was directed by Tim Hunter, who's a fabulous writer and director, and also an amazing cinephile who collects 35 millimeter prints. We had Tim Hunter at the festival 6 or 7 years ago, only because he owns an original Technicolor print of Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, and he brought it to the festival so that we could show it, and he introduced it. But we are showing his film Tex. He also has a new short film that we're going to show along with Tex. But he directed that film River's Edge, like the first big Keanu Reeves film, a great film.
Ione Skye,
Ione Skye, Crispin Glover, and Dennis Hopper.
Hey Ben, let's
okay,
stop
so I'll
right
just
there,
talk all night.
No, that's okay. We'll pick it up on the other side of the break. We'll have a few more minutes with Ben, and we'll read a couple texts that just came in, and then we'll wrap this thing up. We're talking Wisconsin Film Festival with Ben Reiser. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Gold and silver shine. Shiny, happy people holding. Shiny, happy people holding. Shiny, happy people laughing. Everyone around.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. In the race for Wisconsin Supreme Court, so many issues are on the line, from reproductive rights to redistricting to even just basic checks and balances. For right-wing candidate Brad Schimmel, though, one issue deserves more scrutiny, and that's his record on opioid settlements. Here in Wisconsin, it seems like we all know someone who has been directly affected by the devastating opioid addiction epidemic. As Wisconsin's Attorney General, Schimmel refused to join multi-state lawsuits taking on opioid manufacturers. We now know these settlements are having a major impact, as new research shows that overdose deaths are declining significantly in Wisconsin because of funding from these settlements. You have to wonder if things might be unfolding differently had Schimmel been reelected in 2018. His lack of action and indifference to accountability on this issue should be seen as a real problem as he seeks a seat on the state's highest court.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area.
Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411, and the diverse and resilient Appleton Room to Be Safe is hosting a monthly drop-in night for LGBTQ plus adults, which will have social connection, fun, and resource sharing, and best of all, support. These meetings are available once a month from now through April. They are completely free and unstructured, so you can come when you want and leave when you want. If you're interested, go to WGBW.FM and click events to learn more.
Did you know that Wisconsin has a new, quick, and free online tax filing tool called IRS Direct File? Direct File is changing how people file their taxes and bringing more money into our state through the federal Earned Income Tax Credit and Child Tax Credit. File your federal and state taxes online directly with the IRS from your smartphone or computer. On average, file in less than 1 hour. Available in English and Spanish.
Hi, this is Jenny Slate, and you are listening to Night Light with Geet Schwaba.
Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down the night shift. I bet you're singing proud.
Welcome back. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Night Light on the stream. PJ says, saw a meme earlier about Nerds candy. It said, when you're craving a mouthful of fish tank gravel, have some Nerds. I take issue with that, PJ. That's we were talking about that earlier because once in a while I crave Nerds, and I've also eaten fish tank gravel in a drunken stupor once, and it's not nearly as tasty as Nerds. Steady Eddie weighs in on the text line from the 608. He says, I tried to text you yesterday with an answer to the question of the day about who listeners were rooting for now that Wisconsin and Marquette have been eliminated from the basketball tournament. I'm not sure what happened. I may have accidentally sent my text to Jeffrey Goldberg of the Atlantic magazine. Pete, if you are texted any information marked top secret, please disregard. Anywho, I'm now rooting for Michigan only because I'm inspired and enchanted by the name of their new head coach, Dusty May. I came up with this poem. A dry April means a dusty May, who marches the Michigan Wolverines to a basketball championship in the NCAA. Steady Eddie always brings it. That is awesome, pal. Thank you. Bridget from the 818 says, I could sit quietly in a room and do nothing for hours. I'm a kindergarten teacher. I love the peace and quiet. I can relate to that, Bridget. And then finally, Tony the trucker says, Pete, I think your guest is thinking of the Majestic Theater as the porn / kids movie venue. Does that sound familiar, Ben?
Well, I think the Majestic might have done that too, but I have it on good authority that the Barrymore, which I think was known as the Eastwood at a certain point, was also dabbled in adult entertainment.
I think at some point all the theaters in Madison dabbled.
Sure, why not?
Hey, there's a nightlight beer called Hazed on Radio, Ben, at the Flicks Brew House this year. I don't know if you knew that. Made in honor. I went and I poured the hops in, and it's going to be there all through the film festival. So that's a good venue.
What I love about Flicks is they're my favorite movie theater, commercial multiplex movie theater in Madison or the Madison area. Maybe because they're the newest and their projectors are the newest, and there's all their theaters look great and sound great. But what's funny is that they don't really consider themselves a movie theater. They consider themselves a brewery and a restaurant that just sort of happens to show movies, on the side. Like they're much more interested, which I guess all movie theaters are now, with concessions and selling you food. But, Flicks has full meals for you, a really robust menu. And then of course, all this like in-house brewed beer. But it's fun. Yeah, it's great. And so especially if you're spending the day at Flicks seeing 4 or 5 movies at the festival, you can have all your meals there too. You don't need to go anywhere. You never need to see the light of day.
Eat some food, drink some nightlight beer, and be on your way. Hey, so let's do this, Ben. If people were coming to the festival and you had to tell them to see 3 films, what would you say? Assuming they're all great, but at the top of your head, what comes to mind?
There's another film we're showing at the Barrymore is a stop motion animated film called Savages. Made by this director whose film My Life as a Zucchini we showed 5 or 6 years ago that was there. I think it was originally in French, but they did an English dubbed version with Nick Offerman doing one of the voices in that film. And I don't know if you remember this, we had a whole Nick Offerman day one year at the festival where Nick came and we showed like 4 films that he was involved with in some way, from, being on screen or doing the voice, as they did for My Life as Zucchini. Or I think he produced one of the films that we showed. But anyway, Savages, which is about a rainforest and the indigenous people that live there, and sort of they're at war with this corporation that's, of course, trying to deforest the whole joint for their own nefarious purposes. But it's a beautiful film to look at. It's really entertaining, exciting, great for the whole family. It's the one Big Screen's Little Folks film, which is the program that we have at the festival for, films that are appropriate for children and their families and their friends. It's the one of those films that we're showing at the Barrymore, and it's really going to be great on the big screen there. So that's one of them. I personally am a huge fan of the director David Cronenberg. He's got a new movie called The Shrouds, starring Vincent Cassel, or as somebody explained to me recently, no, he's French and it's Vincent Cassel. So that's called The Shrouds. That's playing at the Barrymore at 11 a.m. on Sunday. So I'm excited to see that one. And we've got this other comedy. We already talked about Meet the Parents at the Barrymore. We talked about Friendship on opening night being sold out at the Barrymore. But we have another one. And we also talked about Threesome, which is another comedy that's showing at the Barrymore. But we have one on Friday night called For Worse, and is written and starring Amy Landecker, who's a terrific actress.
Oh, yeah.
Currently married to Bradley Whitford, who produced this film. But people might know Amy from that show Transparent on Amazon. She's one of the siblings, I want to say the older sister on that terrific show. She's great. I hear great things about this movie. We've sold a ton of tickets for it, but there's still some left. So did I name 3 just now?
That's 3, buddy. And we've got about 30 seconds left. Have you watched Adolescence?
No, I haven't yet, but tonight might be the night. I'm just about out of everything else. I wrapped up all the shows I was in the middle of. Hey, did we ever talk about The Diplomat? Is that the name of the show?
Yeah, I watched the first season. I liked it.
Oh, and you didn't watch the second season?
No, I don't. We'll do that next time. Because, I would love to have a discussion about that. It's not that I didn't like it, but Adolescence, I started 20 minutes into what I go, I'm going to love this. I have to stop this and prepare. I got to stretch out next time I watch it, and all one camera. It's just, I think it has a lot of potential. So we'll circle back on that as well.
All
Thanks
right,
so much,
psyched.
buddy.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a week. I can't wait.
Yes.
And break a leg this year, as you always do.
Thanks, you too.
All right, that's Ben Reiser from the Wisconsin Film Festival. Get your tickets today. Lots of great films happening. My thanks to Frank Hermans for being here in the studio and knocking our socks off. And thank you for all your texts and all your calls. It's great when you guys are part of the show. Another Nightlight in the books. On behalf of the lovable producer Conrad, I'm Pete Schwaba saying good night, Wisconsin.
I'll take it to